What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Hey, this is your buddy, Uncle Ricky from Uncle Ricky's house. Look, this is my first live, so don't expect, any kind of excellence at all. But I decided to go live to talk about the 6-year-old at Newport News that shot his teacher on Friday. Um, I've already put out a couple of videos about it, and I do have to correct one thing. In the last video I put out, I raised the question of why was the teacher and the student in a classroom one on one, and that question was based on the early reporting, and it seems that it was just a regular class session. He shot his teacher in the middle of the class with other kids there, and what she did was after trying to after she tried to take the gun from him and it was apparent that he was going to shoot her, she raised her hand to defend herself. The bullet went through her hand. He shot her. The bullet went through her hand and hit her in the chest. But she was conscious long enough and able to make her other students her number one priority. She managed to get all of the students out of the room before she received any kind of aid at all for her medical condition. Now, that being said, it still doesn't stop. It clarifies some things, but it still doesn't answer a lot of the questions. Um, I think we all realize that the kid got the gun from home, and it seems, without a whole lot of details, the mother legally purchased the gun. It wasn't an illegal gun, and it seems that, well, basically based on the lack of any reporting about the mother, because names are still being withheld. They didn't indicate that the mother had any kind of violent criminal history, but she may be responsible for endangerment by not securing her firearm properly, and leaving it loaded in a home with a minor child. Now, I would love for some more people to come in because I'm full of ideas and all of that, but sometimes, when people come out and, bang shit out together, you come out with a clearer picture. Because, when you get up in your head, you formulate your own story, you formulate your own opinion, you formulate your own conclusions. And this is one of those situations where I don't think anybody comes up with 100% of the conclusions or right opinions that's required to even attempt to tackle the problem. Now, we know that Newport News is, it's there. It's like a little city, big town, little city. Um, it's a typical Virginia uh, coastal type setup. One major industry, the shipyard, a lot of military families in and out. Um, you got disparity economically. You got abject poverty, and you have the let's say financially well off, and then you have the absolutely fucking rich. The school system has been plagued with. Um, I'm not gonna say plagued because if you just look at numbers, it's nothing compared to other locations. Or I'm not gonna say it's nothing because it's always gun violence, and it always has the potential of taking a human life or ruining the life of the shooter. Now, the thing that I still wonder about Newport News, the superintendent of schools came out and he made a nice little speech, blase, and the chief of police came out. He gave the teacher all her props, and it seems it's apparent that maybe she deserves to be designated as a hero. But we still have to go back to the question of why, what motivated a 6-year old to do this. Now, perhaps the kid was a problem kid to start with. They're still not, because there's no identity release. They're still not talking about the kid, his school behavior, his school record, and you got to give. I mean, you got to look at it normally too. He's only in the first grade, so he shouldn't have much of a school record. But when they finally apprehended the kid, and it was all safe. Any more potential targets were out of the room, and the police had him in custody. A school official attempted to escort the child out and put him in the police car. He hit the school employee. So obviously, there is some type of issue with the child, but a clear understanding of what those issues are. Are they generated at home? Are they generated at school? Was he being bullied? All of that stuff is still up in the air. And the only bottom line thing that matters is, for whatever reason, a 6-year-old tried to kill his teacher. Now, if she hadn't done what she had done, another question that comes up, would he have turned the gun on his fellow students? I mean, would he like to become, a 6-year-old member of the trench coat mafia? Reference to the Columbine school shooting, which it wasn't the first school shooting in America, but it was the one that kicked off the trend that we have today. It was the first one that really got national recognition of the fact that we have a damn problem. Now, um, it's I really wish somebody. I know I'm not that popular. I know I'm not. I know that, like, a lot of people don't know me, but I wish that somebody would join in, because I'm not saying that I'm at a loss for answers. I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I'm combing, whatever articles coming out. I'm looking, I'm looking for the news to come up with something significant. Whatever releases the police make, whatever releases the prosecutors make. I'm trying to stay on top of all of that, but deep down in my soul, I admit I'm troubled, and I would love to hear somebody else, even if you don't agree with me. I would love to see or hear what somebody else feels about this, because I think maybe no matter what level we're on, no matter what our beliefs are, religious, political, whatever, it's troubling, because when you create an atmosphere, irregardless of what the problem is, irregardless of who the instigator is, where a child, 6 years old, not even, I mean, like, really for the first time in their life, out of the house into another social setting, and they decide, they purposely plan, arrange to kill their teacher. Scary thought. Scary, scary thought. Now, Newport News, I mean, like I said, past 17, 18 months, they've had two incidents, one resulting in a death, one resulting in other students getting injured. And that one, I think the student that actually did the shooting got 10 years. But the other one that resulted in a death, that one's still being adjudicated. I mean, it's a homicide, it's murder. The 6-year-old, it was a near. I mean, as bad as it is with him shooting her and her surviving, it would have been a nightmare if she had died, or if he had turned the gun on his classmates. And it's obvious that he still had anger. I mean, he took a poke at a school official that was just trying to escort him out of the classroom, you know, um, instead of maybe allowing the police to do the normal legal procedure, handcuff his little ass and throw him in the back of a squad car. I mean, you've seen it before. children, 8, 9, 10, 6, getting handcuffed, some in school, and taken away. And we get all irate, and I'm one of those people because we don't think that whatever happened justifies a child being treated that way. But when you try to kill a person, even at 6 years old, I don't think civility or courteous, caring, the treatment is what is needed in the moment. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just a hard ass, but I mean, I know when I grew up, I did some foul shit, but I never tried to kill nobody. Not at 6 years old. Um, but one thing that stopped me, even in adulthood, from doing a lot of mindless, cold ass shit was the lessons I learned as a child from the role models and adults around me. You know, parents included, but neighbors, relatives, extended family. They taught you that there are consequences and that some things are just not tolerated or accepted under any condition, or even if you are right in the wrong situation, you're not going to come out well. Now I know at 6, it's a hard concept to talk about consequences. You are all emotion because most kids at that age, like I said in one of my previous videos, either they are petulant little peeved, pissed off, antisocial motherfuckers, perhaps like this kid was, or they're overachieving, trying to be the darling in everyone's eyes, seeking that attention so that, the good shit keeps coming to them. The platitudes, the toys, the success that comes along with fame and acceptance. We learn to expect that at 6 years old. And maybe this was part of the young man's problem. Maybe he wasn't getting enough of that at school or at home. But again, we don't know because we don't know who the fuck the little kid is. Now, and I understand. I mean, I'm not saying they should tell us because I understand. At that age, there's so many things that could be involved, and hopefully, at that age, at 6, maybe somebody can get to this kid, figure out what his problem is, determine if he can be helped, and then help him through it. Because part of the problem that nobody's really thinking about, even if you put him in for counseling or you uh, lock him away in a mental institution until professionals deem that he is safe to go out in public, you got to first find out what the problem is. Then you got to realize that. I mean, then you got to get him to understand that he was wrong because he didn't count on the consequences of hurting someone. You got to teach him that other people matter. You got to teach him to respect the right to life. You got to teach him to um, the basic principles of law and order. And then once all of this clicks in his mind, you got to shepherd him through his own recovery. Because at 6, 7, 8 years old, when he realized he really, really, the consequences, the total impact of trying to kill someone, it's going to rock him. Because he hasn't thought about that yet. He's not capable of thinking about that yet. All he knows is he was pissed, and all he knew was the solution that maybe he saw on TV, the solution that he saw in his home, the solution that he saw on the internet, and that's just get a gun and kill somebody. And then once all the other things are made available, the steps all fall into place. Now, what I really found amazing is at 6 years old, like I said, he took the gun. Maybe that's his mother's fault for not properly storing her gun or properly educating her child on what a gun really does, what the use of a gun really can cause, you know, on TV, in the movies, online, in a music video. When someone is shot, that's it. They die. You see the fucking flower bringing and, slow walking and singing and shit. And it's over with. But the child does not, whoever used that gun, the child may understand the reasons that the person was shot in the movie. And that's where their reasoning ends. That's where they tend to stop thinking and realize at 6, your ability to think out uh, complicated problems is limited. You got to grow into that. You have to develop into that. Your brain isn't developed enough to handle certain concepts that are necessary to be responsible and accountable in life. Come on, man. Somebody look at this and come in because I've been talking for 16 minutes. I want to talk to somebody else. Is there anybody out there? I'm gonna give it another couple of minutes. And I'm gonna do this again. I just wanted to try it to see what it was like. And I also wanted to make that correction to the other videos. Um, it's a perplexing thing. I mean, even it's going to go into court, and there's going to be charges leveled probably at the mom for whatever her fucking negligence. There may be other things that stem from the home. We don't know, but just trust. There's going to be charges in the custodial directions. Now, as far as what's going to happen to the child directly, one thing, the teacher didn't die. That's one thing in his favor. But it appears from his behavior and his cunning, he put the gun in his book bag and walked right into school and held it in the classroom until he was ready to use it. Now, what caused the actual use, the moment, that's got to come out later. But with all the things that the school system says, with I mean, they said, "Oh yeah, we got metal detectors in all of our schools." So why didn't it find this gun? Oh, we don't run them unless there is a credible threat. Well, perhaps the school board fails to realize in these perilous times, even though you don't want to think about it, every day is a credible threat, especially when it comes to children. Um, it's just sad. It's it's like incomprehensible to a certain level because violence is a concept. Violence is a precept that most people, by the time they're an adult, they got a pretty good grip on how they feel about it, how if they advocate the use of violence, if they are situationally violent, or if they are anti-violent, totally pacifist, whatever. But again, like I've been saying, at 6 years old, you haven't even had the opportunity to get that far. All you know is what you have seen. All you know is what you have heard. So perhaps it could have been avoided by a simple case of filtering. Okay, this is 20 minutes and nobody's on here. I'm gonna call it quits because I'm getting tired of talking. But think about it. Hit me up. Make a comment. Hit me up. I'll get back to you. I don't leave people hanging when they comment. And I'm not thin skinned, so You can say just about anything you want as long as it's on this topic. Don't get personal. Don't get funky. Don't try to fucking, project or no shit like that. Because this isn't what this is about. I'm trying to get some people together to come up with some shit that can actually be used to perhaps prevent this from happening again before it happens to somebody you know. Well, that's it for me. And as always, with a smile, peace out and God bless from Uncle Ricky's house.